Entrepreneurs aren't born, they are made through failures, breakthroughs, and relentless hustle. Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, 100 plus podcast stations. This is where visionaries share their unfiltered journeys, strategies, and game changing insights. Your success story starts here. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Watch, learn, and elevate. So, hello everyone, welcome back to the season 2 of the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, and today we're going to talk about leadership, strategy, soft landing, career, radical shift, high performance, all those things in under 50 minutes, like we usually do. But I want to set the standard for today's show because I want to make sure everyone who joins this, who watches this show TV today, they make notes. They stay till the end because the strategies that are going to be shared today are going to be so valuable for you going at the back end of 2025 to make sure you get the results that you want. You get the alignment in your life you want. You overcome whatever that's holding you back. And for that, I have an amazing guest today. Before getting the guest on the stage, I would like to introduce them to you. Dr. Makeba Morgan is a leadership advisor, intuitive strategist, and the founder of the soft landing method. After a celebrated corporate career, she made a radical life shift to follow her soul's calling, guiding high-achieving entrepreneurs and executives through identity transitions, burnout, and sacred in-between spaces. Where the old ways of operating no longer fit, Makeba's work merges leadership science with energetic alignment, creating new paradigms for sustainable soul-aligned success. So I'd like to welcome Makeba on the stage. Hi, Makeba. How are you doing?
Hi, Rohit. Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction.
Well, you know what? The best way to introduce someone is to let them introduce themselves as well. So I would love to know more about you in this episode. Our audience would love to know more about your journey. So why don't you share some insight, right? How you got into all this? How did you start it? If you can just give a quick intro.
Sure, sure. So I will start at the beginning of the big shift for me, and that was really a result of having back pain for a few years, actually, and not being able to pinpoint where it was coming from. Turns out it was because my heart chakra was out of alignment, and I found that out when I took a Reiki level 1 class. I knew a little bit about the chakras, but really didn't know enough to know that if your heart chakra was out of alignment, it could hurt your back. And my back was hurting because I was unhappy with my job, I was unhappy with my marriage, and I just wasn't really loving on myself the way that I needed to. So that's how I got into this work. After I learned Reiki, I started connecting with my higher self very closely and was guided to move from my corporate job into spiritual entrepreneurship. So I've been doing that now for the past few years, and it's been life changing.
And Makeba, looking at your journey, because I read your whole bio and I do work with you, right? And you work with entrepreneurs navigating quite burnout and identity shift. So why is this sudden and hidden but urgent issue in the business world right now that people are feeling burned out, they're having identity shift, their self-image is going down each and every day. What's happening with the world? If I were to ask you from your point of view, what's going on?
Mhm. I think it's the rat race. I really think that we are so driven by the economy, the market, just constantly trying to make more money, make more money. Whether we're in corporate or we're entrepreneurs, we are really challenged with trying to keep up with, you know, the Joneses, keep up with our neighbors, trying to get the best car, the best house, the best everything. And then we end up working so hard that we don't pay attention to our spiritual side. Our spirit is just as important as our body and our mind. It's all related, mind, body, soul. So the burnout comes when you don't take the time to rest, when you don't take the time to spend time out in nature, when you don't take the time out to meditate. And we don't do those things because we're constantly serving others rather than focusing our attention on ourselves. And then also, as women, we're often told or we're put in a position where we are made to serve others. And so we kind of forget about ourselves. That definitely leads to burnout.
And what was your own personal breaking point when the outer world wins no longer match your inner truth with what's happening with you inside? When everything's on the shine outside, but something's missing inside. What happened exactly?
So that's a great question, Rohit, because what I tell people is that there's not always a big breakthrough aha. It's like little breadcrumbs, little things that happen over time. And for me, it was the breakdown of my body. Like I said earlier, the back pain it just wouldn't go away. And to me, in my mind, I thought it was just physical. Maybe I'm just getting old, my back is hurting. And so learning more about how energy works in the body, that is what helped me quite a bit. I will say there was an incident or an encounter that happened probably 6 or 7 months before I actually learned Reiki. And that was where I was feeling just kind of ho hum, chugging along, going with life, just working hard, taking care of my family, all these things. And so things seemed like they were okay. I didn't have any major complaints, but I wasn't really ecstatic or passionate about anything. And one of my old friends came to visit. I hadn't seen this person in years, and he knew me very well. And so when he asked me how I was doing, and I was like, "I'm good." He could tell energetically that I wasn't fully good. So he asked me, "What's really going on? How are you really doing?" And then he just held my hands, and it was like an electric shock going through my body. And I realized later on that that was Reiki. So that, I think, was for sure a turning point for me. But there were many little points along the way. And what happened as a result of that is that just him holding my hands and saying and really truly asking how I was doing, it created this jolt of energy in me that started me, I think, on this energetic path. I really knew that I wasn't fully myself. I wasn't just happy. I wasn't happy. And I think one of the things that we are challenged with is accepting that as it is what it is, and I don't think that we have to. I know for sure that we don't have to live in that state where it is what it is and it's just okay. We can be happy, we can be at peace, we can live with purpose, and we can have, like, our full power. That's what we're aiming for. Peace, purpose, and power. That's what I say.
And we can fight back, we can overcome any setback, and we can thrive no matter how poor the situation can get. And
Absolutely.
right? And why do you believe we glorify exhaustion in entrepreneurial culture, and how is that hurting leaders more than helping them, according to you? Because that's been a burning topic these days.
Say that one more time, Rohit.
So, according to you, we glorify exhaustion, right? This hustle culture, right? In entrepreneurship. And how is that hurting leaders more than helping them? This hustle culture, when they see everyone going out doing their thing, they see, okay, maybe I'm missing out and stuff like that happens.
So that's a good question. And I think, oh, excuse me, I think that we're so driven by capitalism. And I don't want to like throw capitalism under the bus because I like nice things too. And a lot of the people that I encounter who are really hustling the hardest are people who struggled when they were growing up. So, they experienced lack and they were looking a lot at folks on the other side trying to get there. And we believe that that's the only way to be happy. I remember growing up, my mom would always tell me that I should be a strong and independent woman, that I should be able to take care of myself. And that meant that I needed to make enough money that I didn't need anybody else to support me. And, when money is the driver and money is not always easy to come by, it can be a challenge and it burns people out. I'm now at the point in my career where I am an entrepreneur full time, and that wasn't the case for the first 20 years of my career. And it's been an adjustment because I know that I need money to survive. But I also understand that I also need peace, time, balance, and all of those things. So I think that's the biggest challenge. I think that's the need for people to understand that you can have both. It's possible to have both.
Well, with that great optimism and hope that we have in our life, we got to go into a quick commercial right now. But when we come back, Makeba is going to talk about her moment of awakening, the unexpected Reiki class, and how to recognize the subtle signs your inner compass is off. So I'll see you right after this short break. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show season 2. This is your host Rohit Soni, and today I'm with my guest Dr. Makeba. Like we were discussing a lot of things before this. So let's talk about Makeba, the pivotal point in your life, right? Share the story of how you found yourself, which kind of you shared, but how did that lead you to leadership and life path so that you actually made a huge shift with your overall life?
Okay. So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I had been having this back pain and I decided to go take this Reiki class because from somewhere, it was like a quiet nudge, I guess. I heard the word Reiki. With this back pain, I'd been going to get massages like once a month or so, going to the chiropractor every other week, and nothing was helping. But then this word, Reiki, popped in my head. So I ended up taking a class before I had ever tried Reiki or even really knew what it was. So as a result, I experienced this spiritual opening because that's part of learning Reiki. Reiki level 1 is specifically for self-care. And so I wanted to learn about how to help my back. After the Reiki class, or at the end of the Reiki class, my Reiki master teacher opened me up, blew on me, and said, "Okay, I have attuned you." I really didn't know what that meant at the time. But very shortly after, I would say the very next day, I started getting these messages um, from my spirit guides. And I had not even thought about a spirit guide, didn't know what that was. I had often maybe connected with my ancestors, but not even in any kind of formal way. I would just know that my grandmother was with me and things like that. But these spirit guides started talking to me, communicating with me, and not like a person on the side of me yapping. No, it was this deep knowing, this strong connection. And then I began to write. through automatic writing. I had never heard of automatic writing. And basically, you put a pen in your hand and you put the pen on the paper and you ask for your spirit guides to come and write and share messages with you. And that's what happened. It was crazy. It was weird because I had never heard of such a thing. But the messages that were coming through were so crystal clear. They made so much sense. And I it was 7 days, exactly 7 days after my Reiki attunement that I got this message that I was Dr. Makeba for love and that I was to do my part to bring love and light back to the world, and that I would open a healing hand center. In 6 months after that, by July of 2022, you will have a healing hand center. And it was that kind of big message, but it was quiet because it was coming through the pen. And these are thoughts and things that I never had. So it wasn't like I was manifesting them, it was coming to me. So anyway, on that 7th day when I got that message that I was Dr. Bakiba and I was supposed to do all these things, that's really how it started. And by July of 2022, I opened my Healing Hand Center, and it's been going strong ever since.
That's great. And could you tell us a little bit more about your services, like how you help your clients a little bit?
Mm.
Take a deep dive.
Sure. Yes, sure. So I am a spiritual coach and healer. I am a convener of souls. So what I do primarily is spiritual coaching at this point, where I help support people connect with who they are and why they're here. And the way that I do that is through a method that I call the Soul Bloom method, where we work together very closely to unearth the things that are underlying, causing people distress or worry, concern. We unearth those things, and then we go about clearing them. And we clear them through different methods, including energy work. I do Reiki, I use spiritual hypnosis, but a lot of it is getting people to see that they have the power to clear themselves as well. The third step in the Soul Bloom method is centering, and that has a lot to do with helping people focus inward, because a lot of times we are so focused on what is happening outside of us. We're so focused on getting advice from everybody else, from seeking guidance from everybody else. And so this centering phase helps us to look within and be quiet for a little bit so we can hear these subtle messages and get this direction and trust and know that we are secure, that we do have a strong foundation, that we are guided and protected. So that's what that centering piece is about. And then we go on to empowerment. And that part is really ensuring that the person has the tools that they need to heal themselves. Because I, as a healer, am helping them discover the healer in them. The fourth part is alignment. And that alignment piece involves ensuring that once you're in alignment with yourself, we've unearthed, we've cleared, we've centered, we've empowered. Now we are in alignment. We're feeling very strong and firm. We need to make sure that our external environment is in alignment with this new power that we're feeling. So that means making sure that our relationships are solid, making sure that our jobs make sense, making sure that the people that are surrounding us are not toxic. And, by this point, you really have an understanding about what toxic people and toxic things can do to you. So you're empowered to do that. Now you're getting everything in alignment around you. And then the last part is blooming or integrating. So it's basically taking all the things that you've learned, all the things that we've experienced on this journey so far. It's typically a 6-month journey, and actually implementing it, integrating it fully into your life. Because there's one thing I know for sure, and that is that life is a journey. And we have ups and downs. We experience all kinds of things all the time. That's what makes it the human experience. But with these tools, with this understanding, you're able to tackle them. My clients are able to tackle them head on in a very different way. So rather than getting caught in cycles or just really, really spiraling, right? They know how to attack because they'll say, oh, yes, the soul bloom method. Let me get to the bottom of this. And they go back through that cycle. That's what I help people do. I also host retreats and sacred gatherings because I do believe very firmly that we are on this path. We're walking alone. Solitude is key in helping us establish our connection with ourselves. But community is also important because I know one of the things that I have observed quite a bit is that people who come to me are often very spiritually aware. They're very sensitive, and often they're in a space where they feel alone. And not just alone, they feel like they're the only person that is experiencing these things that they're experiencing. So coming together in gatherings and retreats helps people see that they're not alone, that there are other people having similar experiences, and it amplifies the healing. It amplifies the growth. So that is definitely one of the things that I absolutely love doing is seeing people grow, but then also seeing them come together and create bonds with each other.
Talking about bonds and talking about leadership. So I believe in your coaching, you also help leaders let go of old identities and how they can begin process without fear. Can you take a deep dive on that, please?
Leadership, say that one more time, Rohit.
Yeah. So you also help leaders as well, right? Let go of old identities and stuff like that. Do you also do that?
Yes, 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 yes. So, okay. So I was a healthcare executive. I was a leader myself. And a big part of that was my identity, right? Being that job was who I am or was. That job was who I was at the time. But not only the job as my identity, I was a wife, I was a mother, so I had those identities as well. I was also a daughter. I am a daughter. And as I stepped into this new path of who I am, I had to let go of some of my connection to what those identities meant. And so I spend a lot of time with leaders, and it's leaders in various industries. I find that I work a lot with teachers, attorneys, therapists, even entrepreneurs, executives, all kind of folks that have a lot of their identity tied into what they do, their jobs, aiming for success, being a woman, strong Black women. That's a big thing for us. And so peeling away some of those layers to get to the core of who we are is very important. That's when we see ourselves more as a spirit rather than this human suit that we're in. And that's where I believe the peace comes in. So the Soul Bloom method does help a lot with that, stripping away those layers of stuff that have been placed upon us, is what I'll say.
Great. And well, that's pretty knowledgeable. And whoever who's looking for Makiba's service, I'm going to drop her link below where you can have a conversation with her. You can talk to her and see how her services and coaching can be beneficial to you. So, shifting gears, Makiba, like according to you, what's one simple practice or habit you recommend for entrepreneurs in that sacred in between space, like that's happening around the world, right? What's those habits that will help them get back to where they want to be?
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges for me as an entrepreneur, especially as a fairly new entrepreneur, is um, adjusting to the fluctuations that happen for entrepreneurs. I think I mentioned worked in a corporate job. I worked for other people from the time I was 16 years old to the time I was about 48 and got paid pretty much every other week. It was very regular, right? And so there are a lot of ups and downs that entrepreneurs experience in terms of cash flow, in terms of what's going on in the environment and the economy, all kinds of issues that can make it feel very uneasy and uncomfortable, even if you are very passionate about what you're doing, because at the end of the day, we still all have bills to pay. We still all live here on earth, and earth right now, we have to have dollars to do that. And so, one of the practices that has been the most helpful for me is really spending time praying and meditating. And I know it sounds simple, but I think what happens for me personally is that sometimes my mind is focused, it's going, 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 constantly thinking about what's next, what can go wrong, or what can go right, or what do I need to do next? Why am I not doing? So we're just busy, 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 busy. But what I found, and I think this would be really helpful for other folks out there to do, is to take a step back and just breathe for a little bit and go with the flow. Allow yourself to flow. And it sounds hard to do sometimes, especially when you're looking at the bottom line. But I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith. And I know that I'm not in this alone. You're not in it alone either. And when I say I'm not in it alone, I know that I'm living a purpose driven life. I know that I have a higher power that's guiding me. And I also know that, everything happens for a reason. So the way that I approach this life, I think, is a little bit different. I know that I'm going to be okay no matter what. So I try not to, or I don't, I think, worry as much as I used to.
Well, that's the message we should pass to everyone, right? Stop worrying and start living, right? Dale Carnegie.
Right.
That's the message you just pass us. Yeah, I'm loving this show today, and I have some questions I would like to ask you. But for right now, we have to go into a quick break. But when we come back after the break, we unpack the new success blueprint, why ambition and intuition aren't opposites, and how to lead without losing yourself. So when we come back, we're gonna talk and go deeper into those topics. I'll see you right after this break. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show, season 2. This is your host Rohit, and today I'm with a special guest, like we were discussing, Makeba. And Dr. Makeba, I have another set of important questions coming your way. You talk a lot about building a business that matches your becoming. First of all, what does that mean? And how does that practically look like in your client's life they're working with you?
So building a business that matches your becoming means as we move through a process of peeling back the layers, figuring out your identity, and finding out what aligns, a lot of us are being called to do something with our lives that matches our purpose. And that means that sometimes we need to shift our mindset about what it is we thought that we should be doing. So it is a process, and I've had to actually coach quite a few people through it because it's not always very clear. And it depends on the person's personal path, and that's how we go about doing it. I have one client who was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and when she began to figure out what her purpose is, it has to do with speaking, sharing her story, writing books, all kinds of things. And so, how do you build a business around that? Especially if, she's now on her own. She's no longer married because that was another piece of being the becoming. Or that was another part of her becoming. It was peeling away that identity of being a wife in an unhappy situation. So now she is an entrepreneur. She is a spiritual business person, but starting from zero knowledge. And it's not easy. I'm sure all of you out there have a strong sense of how challenging it can be to be an entrepreneur if you've been doing it for years and years. So, making sure that you model the business around who you are and why you're here, I think is a special experience. And there's a big need out there from what I can tell.
Well, there's a need, right? That's why people want to work with coaches like you, just so that they can get more alignment, right? And according to you, what's one simple, belief about leadership you wish every entrepreneur would unlearn today? Unlearn today.
Unlearn, unlearn,
And that's the magic word.
unlearn. I think it's that we have to do it all ourselves, that there's only one currency. That's the one thing that I think that I've learned the most lately, that money is the only currency. I feel like we're moving into a space where bartering is coming back a little bit. And so just thinking about new ways of um, working together, growing together, and, you know, just enjoying life without having to do it all on your own. So, not just spiritually working together, but like, why can't we partner in the way that we are today? Like, I'm speaking here on your program, promoting my stuff, but also helping to spread love and light into the
And
world.
impact people's life in practically a lot of positive way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, looking at what you do, Makeba, and I know this is more like a question that you can ask personally as well, but I want to ask in front of everyone, right? What legacy are you hoping to leave for leaders and entrepreneurs with your work? What do you actually want to accomplish? What's the biggest why out of it? Uh, Maybe you just talk to yourself about it personally, but what is it about? Why are you doing this?
I'm doing this work because I believe that, first of all, it was a calling for me. It's just being in alignment with my calling. I take it very seriously that I got that message a few years back that my job is to help bring love and light back to humankind from my seat, whatever that means. And to me, that means showing the world, whoever the world is that has access to me, what it looks like to live for love, what it looks like to live knowing that, we are in this together, knowing that it's important that we love ourselves because that's a reflection of how we treat others, knowing that we are light, knowing that that light is contagious. Just so it's a legacy of knowing that love is the truth. Love is the antidote for many of the ailments in the world. And so I want to help people see that in themselves and find how to operate in that way. So that is why I call my work living for love, the number 4, because love is the key. I think a lot of us forget that love is more than just kind of romantic love or familial love. It is a state of being, and it is the foundation for peace. It's the foundation for our practice in our daily lives, how we interact with each other, how we care about ourselves. So if I had to choose what my legacy would be, it would be that so many people, so many people would understand what it means to operate from a place of love in your life every single day.
And when we talk about all these things, we have to always remember that moment that changed everything for you. And then you already told us about it, right? And
Mhm.
finally, what's the one message you want every person listening today to you on the show to take away about alignment, peace, and building a business that fits?
The one thing that I would love for everyone to take away from this is just the knowledge that you are a spirit being living an earthly experience. And that as soon as you allow yourself to connect with your spirit in a deep way, your life, I believe, will be so much better. So don't think that you have to go it alone or do things in the regular cookie cutter, straightforward way. Look within, because if you look within, you will never be without.
Oh, well, that's a quote to be noted. If you look within,
If you look within, you will never be without.
that's amazing. Amazing. And Makiba, before we go off here, any last piece of advice or thing you want to talk to our audience about? I'm going to give you the whole stage. You take your time, share whatever you feel is the message that you want each person to have in their lives right now, just so that they can take this year 2025 and beyond to the next step.
Okay.
Could be anything, right? So just share with us.
Okay. So, one of the things that I was thinking about earlier today is how important it is to spend time alone in solitude. And there is a huge difference between solitude and loneliness. I read somewhere earlier today that 1 in 2 people are experiencing loneliness right now. And I think that has a lot to do with mindset and not recognizing the power that we have to connect with our own spirit, and then with the spirit world in general, because there's no way we can fully be lonely if we know that we're so deeply connected with our spirit and with each other. So the one thing that I would like to share is that we should all take an opportunity to be alone for a period of time, whether it is going on a solo retreat, spending some time to look within. And solo retreat can be a couple things. A solo retreat can mean you decide to go by yourself and take your time, do a silent retreat somewhere, or it could mean that you're going someplace with some strangers. You're not going with family or friends that you know, and you're spending time to focus deeply on your own healing. It could be going out to dinner alone, taking a class, a yoga class, a meditation class, but actually really spending some time in solitude and using that time wisely. Because if you do, it is so pivotal, I believe, in the healing journey, in the healing process, and to finding that peace and purpose. Often we place our purpose, our value in, as I said a little bit earlier, kind of what other people are thinking. But when you spend time in solitude by yourself, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in meditation. Meditation is great, and I think everybody needs to do that. But just some quiet time alone to really be introspective I think we could learn a lot from the introverts out there. Spend a little time in quiet and then see what comes up. Yeah, I think that's the main thing that I want to leave you with is solitude is important. Loneliness is not a necessity. A lot of the old adage that it's lonely at the top, you know? I don't think that that's true. And I think for entrepreneurs, as we grow and grow and grow, we need to keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be lonely at the top if we bring others up with us, if we connect with other people, if we work together. There's enough for us all.
Well, like you said, there's enough for us all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop all the details to everyone who's watching the show to connect with Makeba today only. Try to connect today, maybe tomorrow, because she usually gets busy sometimes, right? So I want to make sure you have your call booked, have a conversation, see what we can do, what you and Makeba can collaborate on, and would love to have an amazing, day for everyone, right? Who watched our show today. You learned a lot. I believe you have made a lot of notes. When I'll have the show air out, I want to make sure each and every one of you let me know how it went go, right? We want to know what did you learn today, what did you like best, because that feedback keeps it going. And I know in today's show, I believe you learned a lot, so do share with us what you like best. And Makeba, again, thanks a lot for being on the show today. We would love to have you again on the show, but yeah, we have dropped all your details now, so we want to make sure more and more people get in touch with you to know, learn, and have a conversation with you to see how you can actually make a difference, because I see a lot of testimonials on your page. So I believe you must be doing something very good.
Thank you so much, Rohit. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, Makeba. Have a great day. So that's a wrap to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show, another episode with Makeba, and I hope you learned a lot of things today that might help you in some way, shape, or form in your life. If you liked the show, I would love for you to share with someone else who you know, your dear ones, your friends, just so that they can learn more about alignment, soul, body, connection, leadership, mindset, all at the same time. So I would love to see you again next week, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific next week. I'll see you on Thursday. Success isn't for the chosen few. It's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.